Welcome to the City of Columbus Patriots Day, 9/11 Remembrance. My name is Rick Isbell. I'm the Veteran Affairs Coordinator here for the City of Columbus. It is my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies. Would you please rise as Dan Law, Chaplain Major, Army, retired, gives the invocation.
May we have a moment to quiet our hearts? We're thankful that Columbus was not a target of terrorism 13 years ago, but every heart in this room felt the impact. May this ceremony arouse us from any apathy that's crept into our lives. Please call us from our complacency that builds up over time, and let faith in ourselves, each other, and our higher power be our hoping mechanism, not simply a coping mechanism. For it's in your name that we ask it. Amen.
Thank you. Please remain standing. Ladies and gentlemen, the downtown Delmar Coleman, are you in the building? Sorry, Delmar Coleman is not here right now. So, to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to ask Marshall Jackson from the Fallen 15 to please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now it's my pleasure to bring Mr. Udo Mrosher of the Navy League as he sings our country's national anthem.
Please feel free to join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. You may now take your seats. Thank you, Udo. That's very nicely done. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the ROTC from Downtown High School, and they do a great job every year to try to help us out as your escorts and doing the honor guard. Thank you for coming today. This is a day not like any other day. And it's now time for me to make introductions of people who are here. Of course, we have Mayor Coleman to my left, who, without this, we wouldn't have a day that we would look at 9/11. He makes sure that we do this every year, and we make sure that we have a ceremony that is honorable. Representative Cheryl Grossman is here with us today as well. I'm also going to go in alphabetical order, so bear with me. Mark Bell from Congressman Teaberry's office. Paula Brooks from Franklin County Commissioners. Marilyn Brown from Franklin County Commissioners. Mitchell Brown, Director of Department of Public Safety. Master Sergeant Sean Clifton, our keynote speaker, and U.S. Army Special Forces Wounded Warrior. Herschel Craig, City Council member. Greg Davies, Director of Department of Public Utilities. Amy DeLong, Director of Department of Civil Service. Hugh Dorian, City of Columbus Auditor. Marshall Jackson with the Fallen 15. Our own Chief Kim Jacobs, City of Columbus Police Department. Rhonda Johnson, Director of Department of Education. And it's a pleasure to have Rear Admiral John King, who is the new commander of DSCC, here with us today. Zach Klein, City Council. You've met Dan Law, he did our benediction. And Udo Marosher. Ron McGuire, who's representing Congresswoman Joyce Beatty's office. Scott Messer, who is Director of Department of Budgeting and Zoning. Michelle Mills, who is with our City Council. Craig Nagy with the Red Cross. Eileen Paley with City Council. Adam Rapian from Congressman Stiver's office. Rick Pfeiffer, City of Columbus Attorney. Chad Smith, Senator Brown's office. Priscilla Tyson, City Council. Stephen White, Senator Portman's office. And Assistant Chief David K. Whiting, who is from the Columbus Police Department. And last but not least, David Yost from Auditor's Department, John Field, Ohio Department of Veteran Services, and Jason Dominguez from the Ohio Department of Veteran Services. Please put your hands together. If I did miss any of you, I apologize. If I didn't get your RSVP, it's probably my fault, and I apologize. Anyways, we have many deputy chiefs and commanders from our first responders here today. The people that run towards the danger, and they never flinch. Would you all please stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, our first responders. As we all know, this is the 13th anniversary of the day that has changed our world. And though all the years have passed, the wounds are still fresh, and in our minds and in our hearts. The day when the world seemed to stop turning. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our mayor of the City of Columbus will say a few words and present a proclamation. Mayor?
Thank you very much. I want to thank all of you for coming here today, this very important day, and we gather here to honor the memory of those we lost that day, civilians and first responders on that day, and we pay tribute to them, all of them, thousands of men and women who bravely answered the call. And our military as well, in the months and years thereafter. As a community of patriotic citizens and businesses and government leaders, it is good to take a moment to remember and to mourn. We can never thank our police officers enough. We can never thank our firefighters enough. Because on that fateful day, they were running towards the problem, the issue, the buildings, the burning buildings. And they died too, trying to save others' lives. And then the months and years after that, our military was in foreign land protecting our freedom. You know, normally when I wake up in the morning, I think about the day ahead. I think about that laundry list of things I have to do. I think about the day, I think about tomorrow, I think about the future. But on this morning, I awakened and I thought about 13 years ago. That day, 13 years ago. It was a Tuesday. It was a Sunday morning. And I think everybody in America remembers what they did on that day. This morning when I came in, I was with one of my aides, and I said, "Do you remember what you were doing 13 years ago?" She said, "Yes, I was in 9th grade." But I remember watching it on TV. I remember that day because I was right here in City Hall with 50 business leaders talking about the future of this cavernous place called downtown at the time. And with us were 5 New York consultants that I had hired to give us guidance on what we do about changing our downtown. In a big meeting in the conference room, we're all sitting around and debating and trying to figure this out. And an aide came up to me and handed me a note and said, "New York is being attacked. You need to come to the mayor's office." So I got up and walked across the hallway, and there was a group of my assistants watching the television and could not believe my eyes what I was seeing. Immediately, the chiefs at that time came together. The command of both fire and police came together. And the New York consultant stood next to me as they watched the first tower come down and then the second tower come down. And I walked back into that office and told all those business leaders, we need to evacuate down. Those New York consultants, as we all all the planes were grounded all over the country. And we received reports in Columbus that there was another Iran plane flying towards Ohio. It then turned around and crashed in Pennsylvania. We did not know at that time whether Columbus was going to be attacked. We had to assume that we were next. And our first responders came together in an unprecedented way and evacuated downtown, taking things in their own hands through direction of the command to protect our citizens. And while none of us had time to fear, we only had time to think for a minute and make judgments momentarily about whether to release children from schools, to send them home. We made the decision to keep them in school if possible, because if they went home, their parents might not be home, and that the safest place to be was in a school building. The police and fire went out to the airport, throughout our downtown, on every corner of our city, to handle the. I remember that day like it was yesterday. And then the following day, we had a press conference on the steps of City Hall, where Jews and Muslims, were blacks and whites, were Democrats and Republicans. We all came together and stood on the steps of City Hall in unity to say we are one nation and one Columbus, and that we're all here together to support our country and our people. Fast forward to Iraq, where even my own son fought alongside with Jason right here. Lima Company, fight for our countries while Lima Company Marines were killed in action. And the funerals, a dozen or so of funerals that I attended around that same time and tried to comfort the families of Lima Company Marines. 9/11 changed America. 9/11 changed me. 9/11 changed us all. And as much pain as we experienced in that time, because it was great pain, we all came together. We were all united as a nation and as a city. We weren't Democrats. We weren't Republicans. We weren't African Americans. We weren't Latinos. We weren't Muslims. We were all Americans, focused on safety and security and freedom of our people. And here we are again. Last night you heard the president. And ISIS, the danger of ISIS on our country. I don't know when they'll get it, but the terrorists will get it eventually. The message to our terrorists in our nation, in our world: nothing unites Americans more than the threat to our security and the threat to our freedoms. We should never forget that day 13 years ago, so that tomorrow, when we wake up in the morning, we don't go back to those 13 years, but we can think about the future. We can awaken, and we can think about the things we have to do in that day and the things that we have to do in the future. Let us never forget that day, and let it forever change how we view ourselves. God bless America. May God bless our first responders, each and every one of them. God bless those victims on that day and the family members who had to mourn. And God bless our military. So I'd like to present a resolution, a proclamation to both of our chiefs. If you come forward, one at a time. Both of you, come on forward, yes. I want you to know how much we appreciate the service of the men and women of our safety forces. We cannot be safe without you. We need you, we respect you, and we honor you on this day.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Very well done. Thank you, sir. I'd like to point out something. We have some young folks up in the balcony, and some of you were probably a little too young to remember when this happened. So I appreciate the fact that you want to be here and learn something about this fateful day from our country. So thank you for coming. I'd also like to see all the people who'd served in our military. Would you please stand? Thank you all for your service to our country or still serving our country. Now, it is my pleasure to ask our special guest speaker to come to the podium, U.S. Army Special Forces Master Sergeant Sean Clifton, wounded warrior and an example of perseverance and will. I will read something really quickly. I'm not going to read the whole bio because it's on the back of your agendas. But Master Sergeant Sean Clifton has over 19 years in military service with the U.S. Special Forces. Master Sergeant Clifton is currently a Special Forces Intelligence Sergeant with the SOCOM Detachment of Army National Guard. Master Sergeant Clifton has multiple tours of combat to Iraq, Afghanistan, where his primary responsibilities was that of intelligence and targeting cell leader of an ODA, Special Forces Aid Team. Sean is also a wounded warrior who I have great respect for, and he has come back and been an example for us all. Sean, would you please come up and give us a few words?
It is a special day, and this is going to be a tough speech because one, my mom is in the crowd, and every time my mom cries, I cry. So I may be a bumbling idiot up here, but believe me, what we're going to talk about is truly from the heart. I want to thank everyone for allowing me to come here and speak today. Thank you, Mayor Coleman, for allowing me to speak, share my story. Rick Isbell, distinguished guests, my Special Forces brothers here in the front row. It's great seeing you guys here, obviously. It makes me much more confident up here speaking in front of you kind folks. So much like Mayor Coleman mentioned, 9/11 had an impact on me unlike no other. An impact on my personal life, my military life, and my family life. 9/11 to me is a continuous story of sacrifice, service, teamwork, and perseverance, all which came together to save multiple lives on September 11th, 2001, as well as save my life on the battlefield in 2009. My story of 9/11 is truly full circle. My story is from the perspective of not only a soldier, but a father, a husband, and a wounded warrior. A story that begins with a tragedy that we all shared in 2001, followed by a more personal tragedy in 2009, however, ending with a true miracle on 9/11 of 2011. And we'll talk about that miracle towards the end. The horrific terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11th, 2001 would change my military career forever. Witnessing the thousands of innocent lives lost, the first responders that made the ultimate sacrifice, and the terrorist group that claimed responsibility would fuel my passion to do something about it. It was 9/11 that pushed my conventional military career into that of the unconventional. In 9/11, 2001, I was already in the Army, serving as an Ohio National Guardsman, having recently come off active duty. I was a conventional soldier, completing college here in Columbus, and continuing to serve my country and my community. However, I wanted to be part of something that could truly reach out and touch the enemy that killed my fellow countrymen and threatened our country, threatened our freedom. I knew that special operations was where I needed to be. Therefore, soon after 9/11, I completed the U.S. Army Special Forces Selection Course at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, as well as the qualification course, earning the Special Forces tab and the coveted Green Beret. An accomplishment that thrust me directly into the global war on terror, the tip of the spear, as we call it, to include multiple combat tours to Iraq, Afghanistan, and other areas around the world, with my SF brothers here with you. Those combat tours were not easy on us. Although we accomplished many great things, eliminated many threats, and tried our best to protect our country and better the lives of those around us, it was not without great sacrifice and a great burden placed on my family, and not without the loss of too many of my brothers in arms. True heroes and patriots that fought and died for the safety and security of others. Just like those firefighters, police officers, and first responders on September 11th, 2001. True heroes. Those combat tours were not easier on me personally either. In 2009, we deployed to Afghanistan, and although overall we had a successful combat tour, I did not come home the same as when I deployed. In the spring of 2009, while conducting a raid on an al-Qaeda and Taliban stronghold, I kicked in the door to a senior Taliban leader's compound and was shot multiple times by enemy fighters. AK-47 rounds ripped through my arm, leg, and abdomen as I almost died on the battlefield that day. But it was the teamwork of my Special Forces brothers on my team that kept me alive that day. As it was the teamwork of those firefighters, police officers, and first responders that saved countless lives on September 11th, 2001. So let's get back to that miracle I was talking about, my 9/11 miracle. After nearly dying on the battlefield in 2009 and battling back through over 2 years of surgery and recovery, the good Lord blessed me and my wife with a baby boy in May of 2011. My miracle son, whom we created nearly after losing my own life, would be born the same day that Osama bin Laden was killed by U.S. Navy SEALs and Special Operations Forces. And although that birth in and of itself is a true miracle, that's not the miracle I'm talking about. My miracle son would be baptized a few months later, and the date would be significant, as the only date available for that baptism would fall on Sunday, September 11th, 2011, the 10th anniversary of 9/11. I remember vividly that beautiful morning, sitting in the church with family and friends, staring at my miracle son's baptismal certificate. The date read September 11th, 2011. I reflected on everything that my family, my fellow combat veterans, my community, and this great nation has been through over the past 10 years, culminating into my son's baptism. That would be a significant day of healing for me, psychologically and spiritually, something every wounded warrior needs. So death, destruction, despair may describe our 9/11 in 2001. Miracles, life, healing describes my 9/11 in 2011 and beyond. So what will today's 9/11 represent for you? So on this day, September 11th, 2014, let us remember and honor those who have served and sacrificed. However, let us also continue to heal, persevere, and simply celebrate life. We're the best country in the world. Let us never forget that. And let's never forget 9/11. Thanks, everyone. God bless you and your families on this very special day. Thanks, sir.
Have a seat. Thank you, Sean, for sharing that insight with us. Thank you so very much. And what a positive note. I also want to share with you that a very special announcement is going to be made today through BMI Credit Union. Charitable financial contributions are going to be given to with a fundraiser to the Fallen 15, a local veteran outreach charity which gives back to the fallen families, their children, and veterans in need. They're looking at the whole man concept here. And they're going to announce an academic scholarship program. I would like to ask for Sarah just to stand up from BMI. Ladies and gentlemen, and from the Fallen 15, we have Mr. Marshall Jackson. And we are proud that they are going to have that outreach for our veterans and their families. $20,000 of the funds will be dedicated to veterans' families, members, and survivors of fallen service members looking to attend vocational trade schools and obtaining certifications in a number of disciplines. The other 10% will benefit the Boys and Girls Club, specifically Operation Let's Roll leadership program benefiting the youth of military families. For more information, please go to fallen15.org. And again, I want to thank Marshall and Sarah for being here today. We have a special recognition certificate to give out. Sarah, Ms. Sarah Borland, please come up here. And will you too, Marshall? Since you guys were instrumental in helping local military and veteran families, I would like to ask that Mr. Al Brzezinski, Mike and Christy Bowersock please come to the podium. These three outstanding people you see before you have gone above and beyond to help our community and the youth of the Boys and Girls Club on Operation Let's Roll. The City of Columbus would like to recognize them for their service to our great city. The role in teaching values and leadership to these young men and women how to protect themselves through martial arts is an outstanding endeavor. Operation Let's Roll allows service members to help teach the class, which also helps in their own healing process. By helping all involved with their own self-image and putting others before self, you are truly helping mold tomorrow's leaders. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for a moment of silence. I would like to thank City Council for the use of their wonderful council chambers, our guest speakers, and the hardworking facility staff that work behind the scenes to set all of this up. That concludes our ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming. God bless you, and safe travels.